Aladdin speaks to the people of Wadia about uranium-enriching weapons that can be used for medical and other non-lethal purposes. Accompanied by his uncle Tamir, Ben Kingsley, Aladdin arrives at the nuclear plant with the intention of displaying his homemade nuclear weapons. However, he was surprised by how little the nuclear missile they produced. Nadal, Jason Mantsukas, built the nuclear missile using uranium 2 years ago, but Aladdin informs him that the missile is meant to be sharp point. Aladdin gives the guards the order to execute Nadal after dealing with the two, but it doesn't seem like they do. Aladdin is shot in the head by a guy as he makes his way back to the palace. We find out later that Tamir is the one behind this shooting and Aladdin is the double. After identifying Aladdin's doppelganger, Tamir tells him that it is his duty to be shot in the head. Aladdin is having sex with Megan Fox at night. He has had sex with over 100 celebrities recently, such as Halle Berry, Oprah Winfrey, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and numerous others. According to the news, the UN approved NATO's airstrikes against Wadia, provided Aladdin doesn't directly address the UN. Aladdin plays Terrorist 2K12 on the Wii in the palace. Tamir informs him that the United Nations has demanded that he address the country about the nuclear program while he is playing. Aladdin calls the generals together to discuss the UN. Shooting a general twice by accident is part of his role-playing. Aladdin travels to New York City to give a speech at the UN. The streets were crowded with anti-Aladdin demonstrations and jeers directed at Aladdin's convoy. Tamir employed Mr. Clayton, John C. Reilly, at the hotel to watch over Aladdin all day. Aladdin is kidnapped later that night and taken to the warehouse while he is asleep. There, Clayton kidnaps him and uses the chair to confine Aladdin. When Clayton displays the several torture devices, Aladdin doesn't seem to be very bothered. Aladdin is able to make light of those instruments. In the end, Clayton totally cuts off Aladdin's beard, leaving him unrecognizable. Clayton unintentionally burns himself down after trimming his beard, which lets Aladdin get away. Aladdin traverses the demonstrations against her in front of the UN. Aladdin now sees Tamir replacing his double, Ephawad, Sacha Baron Cohen. Aladdin understands that his uncle Tamir has deceived him. Ephawad is scheduled to address the country, but in front of the international delegation, he acts awkwardly at the podium. He stumbles to the podium, tumbles off the stage, and swallows a pitcher of his own pee. Then, Ephawad unintentionally spills his pee on the Israeli delegate. Ephawad is currently speaking to the country about Wadia's new constitution, which aims to abolish the tyranny and restore democracy. Everyone is happy, with the exception of Aladdin. Disappointed, Aladdin attempts to sneak inside the UN, but the police shoot him with a hose, causing pandemonium for everyone else as well. Aladdin is freed by Zoe, Anna Faris, who is confused. Aladdin tells Zoe that he goes by Allison Burgers when she is driving to her Brooklyn business. She sells fruits, plants, and other green things within her business. Tamir, meanwhile, was in the Lancaster Hotel when he saw in the newspaper that a warehouse had burned down and that one person had died. He assumes Aladdin has passed away. Tamir calls the unmarried female bodyguards over to enjoy sex with Ephawad. Aladdin exploring Times Square on foot. Nobody believes Aladdin when he tells the guards outside the hotel that he is indeed General Admiral Aladdin. Aladdin watches himself through the glass and sees that Nadal, for whom he created nuclear weapons, leads him out of the building and into the restaurant. Death to Aladdin is the name of the restaurant, which is owned and frequented by many of the individuals that Aladdin personally ordered put to death. The restaurant owner almost recognized him from Wadia. He made up his name when the owner demanded it based on the warning signs: limit occupancy of 120 people, women restroom, staff must wash hands. The diners attempt to attack the proprietor after realizing he is Aladdin, but Nadal steps in to stop them. He is informed by Nadal that not a single person he killed is still alive. Ephawad shows up at the hotel in search of a constitution draft. Aladdin and Nadal are outside. When Aladdin notices Zoe, she hides from her. She gets past security by showing a badge given to her by a store inspector. He should accept a job and work for Nadal, she says. After that, he'll grow out the same beard, and on the day of the event, he'll wear it to enter the Lancaster Hotel. Since Zoe is the caterer at the hotel where the signing will take place, Aladdin accepts her offer of employment. Aladdin punches the customer without cause because he manages the store. Even so, he lets the man go while he urinates in order to clean the bathroom, and right before the cab drives by, he tosses a trash can. When the child spills anything on display in the store, he kicks him. The employee who took the money from the cashier's box is confronted by Aladdin. Later, the couple goes on a helicopter excursion with Aladdin and Nadal. While Aladdin and Nadal are joking about, the couple gets scared when Aladdin mentions Osama bin Laden and 9/11. The couple, who seem worried, says they are members of Al-Qaeda. The two jokes concerning the possibility of another 9/11 attack with the Statue of Liberty, Yankee Stadium, and the Empire State Building as its targets. When Aladdin takes off his jacket and reveals the suicide bomb vest, the pair is horrified right away. After being detained for making threats, Aladdin and Nadal are both released on bond. Tamir watches the news at the hotel and learns that Nadal and Aladdin have been detained on suspicion of terrorism. Now that he knows Aladdin is still alive, Tamir gives the big-breasted security woman Etra the order to kill Aladdin. Aladdin learns how to masturbate from Zoe at the store. Later that evening, Zoe presents the mafroom to hotel manager Mr. Ogden during his visitation. Aladdin is in bed when Nadal calls and instructs him on how to continue masturbating like he did before. He is informed by Aladdin that he is prepared to disclose to Zoe who he really is. Aladdin hears clattering after turning out the lights for the night. Etra uses the bigger breast to attack him while he looks into the commotion. Following a brawl, Aladdin locks himself in the stockroom, but Etra breaks through the door. By just tossing her back into the inflated pool of water, Aladdin ultimately ends her life. When Zoe and Mr. Ogden arrive at the store the following morning, they are taken aback by the disarray. Aladdin says he was accosted while engaging in some masturbation. Mr. Ogden therefore terminates the catering agreement. This will be fixed by Aladdin to enhance the store. Aladdin starts setting rigorous rules for everyone, creating a Zoe-centered personality cult, and threatening an inspector into giving the store a positive review. Nadal gets the bright idea to have the late drug lord Sam Douglas grow Aladdin's beard. Sam sleeps in the chapel of funerals. Aladdin and Nadal enter the chapel undetected by dressing as guests in order to take his head off. Zoe received word at the store from the Lancaster that their contract had been reinstated due to Green World's closure. Green World was forced to close after a customer became alarmed upon seeing Sam's severed head, who had previously been planted by Aladdin. The husband abruptly yells for assistance, saying his wife is going to go into labor. Aladdin arrived to assist the mother in giving birth. Following their sexual encounter, Aladdin confesses to Zoe that he is actually the General Admiral. When Zoe finds out, she gets angry and ends their relationship. Aladdin walks out of the shop. In Times Square, news flashes depict Wadia residents celebrating the collapse of the regime, smashing his statue, and commenting on how hated they are. Aladdin tries to jump from the Brooklyn Bridge to end his life, but Nadal stops him. The following day, Nadal uses a zipline to assist Aladdin in entering the hotel where the signing ceremony is taking place. Sadly, Aladdin finds herself stranded in the center of the zipline. Nadal comes up with a plan to remove everything from Aladdin's pocket so he may enter. Aladdin enters the hotel successfully as the zipline yields. When he saw Efawad there, he commanded him to leave. He torches Tamir's document in front of the UN delegation during the signing ceremony, and he passionately defends the benefits of dictatorship while unintentionally drawing analogies to contemporary American problems. But as soon as he sees Zoe in the space, he confesses his love for her and promises to democratize his nation and make Wadia's oil resources available for commercial ventures, as long as he keeps in mind Zoe's deeply held beliefs. Tamir, who is upset that Aladdin is still in charge, tries to kill him, but Efawad dodges the bullet and lives, declaring that it is his responsibility to shoot himself in the head. Tamir is then taken into custody. In order to participate in the election, Aladdin and Zoe will return home to Wadia. When Wadia held its first democratic elections a year later, we saw a number of people waiting in line to vote for Aladdin's opponent. However, because of Aladdin's support, the tank pointed towards the crowd, forcing them to cast ballots for him, who went on to win the presidency. After that, he marries Zoe, and to his surprise, she breaks a glass and shows her Jewish heritage. Scenes from the credits see Aladdin's convoy, which is now made up of environmentally friendly vehicles, visiting Nadal, who has been reinstated, and later, Zoe announcing on television that she is expecting their first child. Aladdin asks if Zoe is having a boy or an abortion in response to the news.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like, share and subscribe button to my channel to see more videos like this.